a couple steps back. Overall forward progress is still good. See, I've got my road bed put in. I'm pretty happy with it all in all. Now take a look at the proposed river. Very narrow, very close to the front of the layout, not gonna work. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna nix the river. So we can have a moment of silence for the river. All right, so what are we gonna do instead? I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna step down to this end here so I can kind of talk myself through this process and you at the same time. So I think I'm going to raise the overall level of the foam up to the level of this board. Okay, this back here, as I talked in another video, that's those two boards there on the top two boards will come off in lieu of the box lid. So I think if I raise the foam up either right to the level of this wood or maybe an inch beneath it, then, and maybe I haven't mentioned this, but my fascia here, it's not complete. Okay, I plan on cutting contours out. And then I also plan on, my original plan was, of course, to have a river, but I will cut this foam away here, the hot wire knife, and then the wood underneath, I will mark it and cut it out as well. I have not glued the foam to the sub road bed yet because I'm still, kind of working on all these things at the same time. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to raise it up another probably 2 inches. That should give me, especially if I come up above, which I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be crazy high above the track level. You'll still be able to see the trains, but where maybe there's a cut on that side of the road bed, and then bring it down. I think I can get elevation deviations somewhere between 4 inches and 6 inches to make it look like the area is not flat. Made some pretty big changes. I probably made some pretty big mistakes too. We'll just have to see. I went ahead and cut the baseboard just like I had the river drawn out. I shouldn't have done that. What I should have done was kind of pick up a distance away from the track bed and made one single cut that enabled me to put in foam square up to it and then use my foam cutting device to cut away from that angle. Instead, now I've got large gapes here and there, which are going to be tough to figure out exactly how I'm going to do that. I'll figure it out one way or another. It's going to end up being a lot harder than it was before, or what it could have been. But that's what it's looking like now. Before I do much else, I've got to figure out what's going to take place with my control panel. And I've got 2 different options for the control panel. One is to actually mount the push buttons for the turnout switches in the fascia just like it is now. If I do that, then that's going to, I'm figuring something along the lines of 2 foot to have the push buttons in. That may or may not work. I'm going to do a little working on that this evening to figure out if that's going to work. My second option is to scab on something, like I've scabbed on other things onto this thing, that is removable for transportation. That seems a little not optimal, obviously, because that's just one more thing to have to break down to move it if I want to move it. Plus you've got wires that would have to unplug from some kind of terminal. That's not really what I want to do. So I'm going to really work on figuring out how to get my push buttons into the fascia, which is another issue. Is I'm going to have to figure out a way to have the lid come down on top where the push buttons are, which I think I can router out an area that they'll clear. I think I can do that. But I've got to figure that out probably before I go forward with anything else, because I don't want to put anything on the track bed, no track at all, until I'm completely finished with what I'm doing concerning a little bit of the panel, control panel, and more of the front of the layout with the foam and whatnot. So didn't get as far as I wanted to today, but there's always tomorrow.